Hey, this is Johnathan Henry Spiel continues part 2, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Johnathan Henry Spiel, which is the real name of the man that advertises himself as Jon Masters. In his contract fraud and in theft, stealing my legal research and turning around and selling it and advertising that I was going to be on his chat room and took people's money under false pretenses. So he's done a lot of state and interstate crimes. He's also confessed to me about using cannabis 3 times a day and other stuff. So he didn't explain what other stuff is. However, I can tell you this much. When you're in a government subsidized housing by the federal government, it's still a federal crime to have cannabis in a federally subsidized housing. Okay, that's what I've been told by housing. So he says he's doing that, and he brags that the DEA can suck it and blah, 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 and the police can suck it. And, he's just, I'm beginning to think he's criminally insane. The man's 58 years old, I think, 57, 58. And ever since he's about 20, give or take, he's been in a prison or jail. Okay? So I think he's become institutionalized. Okay, so even though he's on the outside, he acts, talks, and thinks a lot like he's on the inside. And no matter what his station is in life, he has these delusions of grandeur. Like talking about he's this world-famous artist. He's not a world-famous artist. Hell, nobody in the whole damn world almost knows who he is except the people on YouTube that he's conned. Instead of his channel being on the Cops Studio News Network with Jon Masters, it should be Johnathan Henry Spiel, S-P-I-E-L. Johnathan Henry Spiel is owned by the cops. He ain't owned no cops. Cops own him. Hell, he's been in their jails and penitentiaries for 35 or 36 years. Who in their right mind would advertise that they win cases and they know all this stuff about the criminal justice system and cops and their rights when they spent practically their entire adult life in a jail? It should be titled, "Don't Do What I, Johnathan Henry Spiel, criminal alias Jon Masters, what I did and what I do." Because I keep going to jail over and over and over and over, and the cops own me. But he perverted. It's like he owns the cops. He don't own nothing. They've owned him over and over. I'd be glad if he'd just published 2 or 3 of his so-called wins in North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, Nebraska, Oregon, Washington State, Missouri, and any other place he's so-called been. All I see is what it says is 16 felony burglary convictions. So he's traumatized and caused people mental and physical and or psychological damage. And he talks about these are crimes of no victim. Well, if you burglarize somebody's home or business, yeah, they are a victim. It's a victim crime. It says 16 counts. The man can't own a weapon, and he can't vote, and he can't do this, that, and the other, according to state and federal law, unless he's weaseled out and somehow got, Oregon's pretty lenient. Now, he might have somehow got a voter's right back, but he's on 1964 Handgun Control Act. He's a convicted felon multiple times, according to the record. Okay, a sleazeball dirtbag, bottom of the road. And the little article the newspaper and the magazines did, it was featuring a homeless man. Okay, he just happened to be the one they was talking to. Could have been anybody. Wasn't nothing special about him. And he paints trees. Come on now, that's stuff they do in the 1st and 2nd grade with little 6 and 7 year olds. Okay, they're supposed to be a grown man painting some trees. I'm pretty sure the kids in the local schools around here, first and second graders, could paint pictures the same. There ain't nothing special about him. He ain't an artist. He's a con artist. He's a convict. He's a con man, a confidence man. He keeps talking it up. He had to talk up the website like it was the greatest thing in the world. And then supposedly he got 130 suckers to sign up. So he had $1,300, of which he was supposed to give me a third of that. Not me, but my church. Never gave a penny. The legal research that he, quote, was taking him out to review and look at so he could comprehend, he's stolen that and been selling it to people. That was my hard work, okay? So if you buy any legal research and you go onto his channel and he's saying this stuff's free, but you got to go to this level and you got to pay money to get it, that's my stuff you're paying for. So he's still committing fraud against me. Okay, and he's frauding you, letting you believe it's his work. I've gone in there and I've reviewed it, and about 60% of that is my work. Okay, and when the man's homeless and somebody else is homeless, he's like these delusion of grandeur. Well, I'm a better homeless man than you. Whatever it is, he's the best. He's the best. You know, and in reality, he keeps being in the joint. Okay, his word is worthless. He signed or gave a sworn affidavit under penalty of perjury that this YouTube was his. Okay, that's perjury. I'm using that as evidence against him. Okay, now a convicted felon, I mean, they're swearing under penalty of perjury means nothing to them. Nothing. That's just another felony crime he's committing, and I'm able to prove that. Okay. So he talks about, well, if I report all this stuff and he was this bad guy, that it doesn't come put him out of his apartment or housing, wherever he lives at there. But I guess he forgets that it takes 6 months to a year and a half, 2 years sometimes in complex state and interstate investigations. Because he has state crimes and he has interstate crimes. Some have to do with the Federal Trade Commission, some have to do with the IRS, which he's trying to avoid. He's trying to scam the IRS. So he's getting his welfare money and charity money over here, and he's trying to hide his YouTube money and paperwork that he sells and artwork he sells out on the street in a separate thing. So he's trying to divide them up, but you can't do that, and don't claim none of that, okay? Because he'd have to pay taxes on it. So he's scheming and frauding, and he brags that he has frauded the IRS and scammed the IRS. Well, you shouldn't brag about that. I mean, if you believe you owe the IRS, and there's a lot of people that do and a lot of people that don't, depends on your classification. But he's saying that he owes them and he's scamming them, and he brags about it. And he brags that he does dope at his place and DEA can suck it. Okay, well, I wouldn't be running around bragging the DEA can suck it and, you know, the IRS can take a leap and they can't prove this. Well, yeah, they can, because you've been saying on YouTube that you sell this stuff. So when they start looking for the money you sold that and you didn't claim that money, oh, guess what? You committed a felony, another one. You're like the gift that keeps giving. When they get all of your YouTube videos downloaded and they get all the police reports and they go back and look at all the things and they're building this case on city, county, state, and federal levels, the Portland police already hate your guts. Not because you tried to so-called have them observe your rights. It's because you was an instigator and an agitator, and you pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and you played games with them. So they hate your guts because you like to play games and you like to say own the cops, and you brag that you were teaching people that if a person actually was committing crimes, how they could get away with it. Now, I teach constitutional amendments and the people's rights, which are God-given. And if the police violate those, there's a remedy and there's things to do. Okay, if they physically or mentally damage you, there's a way to get a remedy and a recovery for that. You're teaching that they could go out and rob a bank or commit burglaries like you and hide behind these rights and try and get the cases dismissed, and you're calling it beat the cops. Okay, now I never understood that was your true intention till after it took 30 or 45 days of conversations back and forth, and used to hint at certain things and other things you'd brag about. So I started going like this, and all of a sudden, bam, it connected. And I got the big picture. And so that's why I had to do away with you. You didn't fire me or let me go, and you said I reverted to being that old cop. No, I'm the same person I always been. I've always helped people. I didn't lie to people. I didn't cheat people. I didn't steal from people. And I dang sure didn't say I was better than anybody else. And you think you're better than somebody that lives on a bus or on an RV or they got a tent city. Well, maybe they chose to do it. Remember when you said you chose to live this way? Well, maybe they chose to live that way. But if you choose to do it, it's okay. But if they choose to do it, then they're scum. That's what you're insinuating. Now, some people are there because they can't help it, because hard times hit, they lost their jobs, okay? And they couldn't pay the bills. And this is how they have to live. But they're not going out committing burglaries like you did. Johnathan Henry Spiel, you coward, you rat bastard son of a bitch. And yeah, I said it, and yeah, I'm a preacher. But you pushed me to the point that you pushed me into my flesh. You've damaged my mind to the point that you're causing me a lot of harm. You're causing me trouble to sleep because you're causing people to call me and call family members and say, what's this about Damon being this chief of police that got fired on this sexual harassment, when it was another Damon, D-A-M-O-N, Jones, that worked in another state, Georgia, and he was a victim of his boss's sexual harassment, so he was a victim. And you tried to play a twisty game with PNP News and other people saying don't deal with me. You tried to turn them against me. Guess what? They found you out in your lie, and they knew that was another chief of police. But even if it was me, my God, are you going to victimize the victim again, even if it had have been me, which it's not? And then you got David over at News Now Houston, okay? Supposedly, allegedly, 30 years ago, he had a romantic interest with a young lady. And supposedly there was a slight age difference. I don't know exact, it don't matter, it's 30 years ago. And because her mom or daddy didn't like it, then they go and file some statutory charge on him, okay? That's not a law. It's just a statute. It's a reflection of a law. So there's some law over here that's an actual rape law. Okay, that's a law. But then over here there's this statute that just says if you're not 18, don't matter if it's the day before or 6 months before, you're just not 18 on this day, and you have some sexual intimacy with some man or woman, whatever the case may be, that is 18, it's a crime just because it's wrote on a piece of paper. It's a statute, which ain't a law. And then they threaten this man or whomever, saying, well, we're going to get you 5 years in prison unless you go ahead and confess to it. If you confess to it, we'll let you go. So it's a 100% chance you can go and say you did it even though it's a lie, or you can fight it, and if for some reason you lose, then you're 5 years in the penitentiary, okay? That's called plea bargaining. You know all about that. You've done that plenty of times, John. Okay, I mean, you spend all your time in jails or prison and coming up with all this baloney and crap. And then you go after J. Vincent Luck Foggers about he lives in a bus. Man, you know, the whole deal was you did bad things. And he made a critical critique of something, and then you jumped all over him and threw him under the bus and ran over him. And the other reason was you was trying to get him to do trust documents for you, so that you could rip him off like you did me and steal his documents and make a pile of money like you are off of me, plagiarizing and stolen goods, okay? But of course you're a thief, so that makes sense now. But he was smarter than me, and of course he didn't never give you the benefit of the doubt, and I did. So you stabbed me in the back by giving you a chance. I am sorry I gave you a chance now that I know, but I thought as a godly man I should give you a chance to redeem yourself. And you lied to me, and you told me only one thing happened, and it was like when you was 20 years old. You didn't tell me you'd only been out of jail for like 18 months this last time. You just in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I think you spent more time in jail or prison than you did free. You're institutionalized. You're criminally insane. I think you need to be evaluated I really think you need to be evaluated, because you're a criminal. I think you got some criminal insanity, delusions of grandeur, and you know better than everybody else, because I get all these phone calls and emails from people talking about how you advise them legally how to proceed, and you're not an attorney. But when you get on these one-on-one calls to people, you're not so-called coaching. You're telling them, here's what you do, and you go ding, 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 and you never say you're not an attorney to them in private conversations, okay? So you're acting as a lawyer in the state of Oregon, okay? And you don't make it clear in these private conversations, okay? And you're stealing other people's works, and you're putting it up as your own. That's a crime, okay? You have interstate criminal theft, cyber crimes, okay? You're committing cyber crimes. Then you're promising things over on your channel like you did it, and people have to come there and pay money, and they're finding out it's a pack of lies. You just lie, okay? And you make it like David's some bad guy from something happened 30 years ago. One time 30 years ago, not like you over and over and over and over and over and over for 35 or something years. Don't you think you're the wrong person in the entire world to be calling somebody a criminal, or that they're bad, or they're not good? I think if I spent 35 or 40 years in and out of penitentiaries and in jails, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel to start with. And I damn sure wouldn't say I'm better than nobody else, or insinuate that I'm so damn smart. And if I kept going to jail over and over, I wouldn't have a channel called Own the Cops. I mean, that's ridiculous. They own you. The cops own Johnathan Henry Spiel, criminal cover-up named Jon Masters. That's not a pen name for celebrities. You're not a celebrity. That's a cover-up criminal name. Look up what aliases are. This is an alias name for you to conduct what most people are thinking is, hey, if they check you out and they say, oh, well, we don't see nothing bad about this guy, so everything we checked out seems okay, so we're going to do business with him. But if they knew your name was Johnathan Henry Spiel and they go on the internet and look up your criminal history and look up the other people who have information on you, you say, oh my God, I don't want nothing to do with this guy. So see, when I looked you up, there wasn't nothing negative. But if I had had your real name and you had divulged your real name to me in contract law, then I would have seen all this and I'd have known, hey, I better stay away from this punk. He's a liar, a cheat, and a thief, okay? Anybody that would commit 16 burglaries on people's homes and stuff, you're a dog. You're a rat bastard. And yeah, I said it, and I'll say it again, okay? You're a disgusting human being, and the way it is in the dictionary, you're a monster. You are a walking, talking piece of trash monster. And I do my best as a godly man to never have to talk about this way about nobody, but you pushed me to the edge. You've caused mental damage to me. You caused financial loss to me and my family. You put Jay Vincent at Luck Fawyers Institute, you put him out on the ground and tried to run over him like a dog, okay? And then when he come out with the video Butthurt at Luck Fawyers Institute, when he come out with Butthurt, oh, you really went off your rocker then and tried to get that taken off, although it was true. And you successfully got it off for a tiny bit of time, but it was reinstated. Then there was Butthurt Part 2, More Truth. And then I've had a video on you. Then I had the Johnathan Henry Spiel, S-P-I-E-L, continues, and this will be Johnathan Henry Spiel continues Part 2. And I agreed if you would let things go before, I wouldn't do no more videos, but you don't. You just keep chugging away, okay? So you talk about us and our associates and stuff. I said, look, you know, News Now Houston, he's an honorable man and a good man. I know who he is, and I've talked to him. He's good people, okay? The people down at Bank versus You, Jimmy Hutmaster down there, when I had the thing set up and I told him I couldn't go on the show because I was working in a deal with you and you was trying to handle promotions and stuff, then you called him and you tried to get money out of him. I didn't know that till after the fact. You tried to hold the guy up because they wanted to interview me. Not you, but me. And then you sent the man an email telling him that I was detained and I wasn't going to be on the show. So when I called in, you was surprised and shocked. And I wondered why you was trying to say something like, oh, well, you got free, Chief. For good, I understand. No, you was using me as a conduit to get to the radio to advertise you and your show, to put money in your pocket and throw me under the bus. So you was using me just like you're using everybody else. It's all money, 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 and dope. Yep, that's you. You're Mr. Dopehead. Okay? I wondered for a long time why your eyes were sunk in and buggy looking and your face was drooping and your skin looked like it was melting. And I guess I was just trying to say you lived a hard life. But I've come to realize, and I've looked through a lot of my old law books about how meth heads look. Okay? And I started looking at that and I started comparing some of the pictures to you, and you look like you've been on meth hardcore. And I think that you're such a you're a control freak for one thing. And Jimmy Hutmaster and I have talked about all the nasty, nasty emails you sent him at bank versus you, threatening him and talking nasty to him. But I went back on the show. I've been back on the show 2 different times since then because I discovered how nasty he was to this man. And by de facto to his audience, which are excellent people. And Jay Vincent, a good, honest, and decent man that has a family and takes very good care of his family, and he puts his family first. In fact, the man had to get a surgery he needed very desperately for a long time, but he held off getting his surgery till he could make sure his family was taken care of, which is something you don't understand, you rat bastard. I hate your guts, okay? And yeah, I'm a preacher, but I hate you. And I'm going to have to get right with God, and I know it. But you better get on your hands and knees, and you better pray, because you're headed to a Satan's hell, boy. You're going to lead the pack. There's a special place for people like you that use people. And talk bad about David over at Houston News Now, and Jay over at Luck Fawyers, and me over here at my channel, and talk about I'm just a so-and-so cop. I'm an honorably retired chief of police. I'm an honorably retired chief deputy constable. I have served as a U.S. Marshal, and I've served as a Texas Ranger. I did my time, almost 40 years, man. I've been very explanative about it, okay? And then you showed personal documents of mine on the internet to the World Wide Web that I told you not to do. And even after you did it, I told you to pull it off. You were supposed to pay for my YouTube commentaries or not use them, and to get my permission if you was going to use them. You didn't ever get my permission. You still don't have my permission, and you still use them, okay? You're a sorry sucker. You're a despicable human being, piece of trash. I think if you was on fire, I wouldn't urinate on you. I don't think I would. I think I'd just let it go. And that's a horrible thing to say. And I'm going to have to get right with Jesus after this. But I'm telling you, you pushed me to the point, caused me so much damage and anguish, and caused problems for my family and for other people and for other people's families by your lies. And it's all to drive your ratings. And it's all to push those people to your paid website, because you started talking to me about if YouTube took you off. So I guess you knew that you were going to get nasty enough that they were probably going to do away with you. But your hope, you pinned everything on getting 20,000 people, because all your research said if you got 20,000 people and you could lead them to a website, that you could build and build and build and lay back on a fat retirement. Okay, and you're diverting that money one way, and all your government funding and your government assistance, your welfare cheese, the other way. But you're a cheesy son of a bitch. Okay? That's who you are. You're a horrible, horrible man. Okay? If you die tonight, I ain't gonna cry. Okay? I tell you, I have felt this way about very few people in my life. God's helped me get over it, and I pray He helps me get over this. But you're a sorriest human being that comes. You can't just be miserable by yourself, and you can't just get high on your dope and leave people alone. you got to go get a channel and lie on people. You got to misinform, misinstruct. So if the DEA comes to your house for your dope, you got it coming. If the IRS comes and audits you, you got it coming. If the Veterans Administration or anybody else that has anything to do with you and state welfare and food stamps and anything else that you get, if they come and knock on your door, you got it coming. If you go to the penitentiary for the rest of the days of your life, you got it coming. Whatever happens to you, you got it coming, okay? Now, why God has allowed you to get to this point, I don't know. God moves in strange ways, but God sometimes moves in real slow ways too. So just because they don't knock today or tomorrow, don't mean they won't be there next month or next year. It's not uncommon for an investigation to take 6 months to 2 years, especially federal investigations. So just because they ain't come got you now, don't count yourself good to go. You're going to have to grow eyes out in your ass. You're going to have eyes in your ass and eyes in the back of your head, because there's a lot of people that hate you. A lot. Not just a few, but a lot. And you know, you lost about 3,000 subscribers. Probably a little more than that, but 3,000. If it wasn't for that, you'd have about 21,000 plus, maybe closer to 22,000 instead of 18,000. And I'm going to make an appeal to the people that are subscribed to you now. Unsubscribe from this man. He's a lying dirtbag. He don't own the cops own him. And he talks nasty and dirty about people because he wants to climb up on people's backs and live off of their misery. I think he's satanic and criminally insane, and I think he needs to be in a mental institution for criminals, the criminally insane. And I think they need to see after him and treat him for the rest of his days of his life. He's in bad need of a psych eval. But there are people that's in Portland that watch me and watch you and know the lies you do. And they got eyes on you. And they got video recorders. So when you're out and about, which ain't too much, you know, I think you got your drug people that bring the drugs to you. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But they'll be watching you and them and your interactions. And so I guess your dope smoking, doping, crazy, alcoholic days are over. Because it seemed like every time I talked to you was getting high or drunk or both. You know, and buying and selling food stamps, that's a crime too, you know. And trading off prescription medication for other dope or paying money for it, that's a crime too. And you do all these things according to what you say. Now, you're a big liar, so you might have lied about some of it, but I bet there's some truth in all that stuff. And if I was a police officer in Portland or there in that county or state police, I'd make it my mission to study Jon Henry Spiel, S-P-I-E-L, about a 57 or 58-year-old white male. I'd look at all your burglary convictions up there in Washington. I'd look at your troubles all the way across the United States. I would just look at your rap sheet, which is just long rap sheet, and I'd study you out, and I'd make a study of you. And I would see if I couldn't do justice for the people and get you in the state or federal penitentiary, which is where you're probably going to go eventually, even though it may be a few years before you get there. And you don't win cases, you're a loser. You're a loser in life, and you're a loser in court. I don't know which one you're a loser more in, but you're a loser in both of them, okay? So when you steal from me, I'm going to see to it that there's a reckoning, there's an atonement, lawfully. It may take a while, but you're going to pay me back for what you stole from me. Mentally, physically, spiritually, you cost me a lot, and you're going to have to pay back for that, okay? Probably get it a little here, a little there, through lawful means, of course. You know, so like when you go to prison and when you get one of them little prison jobs that pay 10 or 15 cents an hour, I'm going to put my lien in on it. You know, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Gosh, people are still emailing me. In here on my smartphone, my email's still coming in telling me Johnathan Henry Spiel sucks dicks. And I don't want to even go into all that stuff. It's nasty. I don't like to talk like that. Some of them said that you was a homosexual and that I miffed you and that Jay miffed you and that you wanted to get a relationship started with David. Now, I don't know. That's just an emails I got. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. But since you spent so much time in prison, you may get it wherever you can, however you can. And you're hooked on dope and hooked on lies. And it's just, golly. And with all them people watching you, man, your life's going to be bad. You're going to have to be an honest guy. You're going to have to quit getting high and drunk all the time. You're going to have to come to reality and get some medical help for yourself. I guess when they come get you, in other words, you ain't going to be like, well, I'm crazy, so they can't do nothing to me. Oh, no, you go to the crazy house for criminals. Crazy criminal house. The criminally insane. And they keep you there forever. You know, because people like me and other good people will let them to know how bad you need this treatment. It's going to be a lifelong treatment. That way you can't hurt people like me and my family, and Jay and his family. And you can't do bad stuff and lie to people over at PNP News. You can't lie to Bank TV versus you, Jimmy Hutmaster and his people. You ain't going to be able to hurt David and his people over at Houston News Now. You're a scumbag, dirt piece of trash, MFer. And I said it. And I ain't sorry. Maybe I will be later tonight and tomorrow, and God will forgive me. And I'll pray for you. I'll pray that they hurry up and get you to the mental ward over at the criminally insane place so you can get the treatment you need. I'm going to ask Jesus to please send you to the criminally insane house where you can get the help you need. And then I'm going to ask the government, when they seize your computers and stuff, that I'm going to put a lien against them and that I get my intellectual properties back and it be recognized that it's mine, and that I want to seize all your computers as part of my payment for my damages. And probably what we'll do is, you probably got a lot of nasty stuff on there I would never want to see. So we'll probably soak it in bleach for, I don't know, real physical bleach for like 30 days. And then me and the guys from PNP, Luck Follier's, Jimmy Hutmaster, Houston News Now, and all of us, we'll take it out and do target practice on it. Maybe we'll feel better. Maybe we'll throw bricks at it, and then we'll take a plasma torch and burn it down so that nobody will see that nasty, disgusting stuff you put out. That would be good. And with you having a gun on your premises and a convicted felon, I don't know what will happen about that, but I bet that won't be good neither. If ATF comes there and finds you with a gun on your premises and you're committing a felony by possession of cocaine and cannabis and you're on federally subsidized property, my God. And then the IRS, don't forget those. And all the other ABC agencies. And then, of course, there's Portland Police, and then the Sheriff's Office there, and then there's the State Police there. And they have to protect their citizens from nasty dirtbags like you too. Gosh. We may never see you again. Yeah, you're driving me crazy, man. And hey, you're probably laughing at me because I know you watch my videos. You pay close attention. Yeah, the thing is, I can prove everything I say, and you can't prove what you say. I begged you for one cake, just one that you had won, if you'd just scan it and send it to me. Well, you didn't have time. Well, you didn't think that's a good idea. You're good at excuses. When you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. I didn't know I was laying down by a dog, but I got fleas. But I got flea treatment. I got the fleas off of me, you dog. And I do. I think you're criminally insane. You have delusions of grandeur, and you've got some kind of sexual malfunction. And I do think that you was after me, and I was going to be some big prize to you. and I think it's after David and after Jay Vincent. Now, we're all pretty big guys, and I think you got some kind of sexual dysfunction where you're after sexually attracted to big men, and when we refute you or rebuke you or do something that pisses you off, then you go after a sledgehammer and all. So now not only are you criminally insane, and that's a whole other category, you're sexually twisted and a liar. If you're a queer, just say so, okay? The world's got 3% or 5% of the population is homosexual queer. Just say it. Just say you're a queer, you're homosexual. You'll probably make a joke out of it to cover up, but we know how you are. You know, of course, you probably mount anything that would stop, but you're ugly as shit. Hey, I can lose weight, but ugly, that's for life. That drugs messed you up, boy, and it's affected your mind. But I think I'm going to pray and get right tonight. But I'm going to share this with the whole world so they know who you are. And hopefully they'll unsubscribe. And hopefully people, anybody that wants to show this in its entirety, not a clip of it, but in its entirety, you have my total permission to mirror it all over the place, because the truth has to get out about Johnathan Henry Spiel. His criminal alias, Jon Masters, white male, 57 or 58. I think he was born in 59. He last got out of jail or prison in 9 of 15. And he started up this YouTube channel. So he's trying to get to 20,000, get them transferred over to a private website. So once he's over there, it'll be hard to get to the people. It'll be hard to teach them and get the truth to them. So he's trying to move feverishly to get up to 20,000, get them signed up on his website for money. Because it's all about the money and the dope. That's all he cares about. Well, alcohol, money, dope, and his twisted sexual fantasies. Okay? And if you go back to, say, March the 1st of this year, and listen to what he said March to now, and then go back from March backward, I'm the one that brought all this free travel forward, this free movement. I'm the one that said that's what people want to know about, is the free movement, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and free movement, and to be left alone and unmolested by police and government officials in your free travels. Okay, so I said, and he kept saying traveling. I said, traveling is state to state to state. Free movement is always, that's out your front door to your next door neighbor's house, free movement. So I taught him all that stuff, and I taught him all these case laws, and I taught him the opinions of the case laws, and I went in, and he probably got 100 pages of case laws and legal research from me. He's selling it. It ain't his to sell. Now I did not only that, I not only put the case law, but I gave opinions about it as to how it affects other people and why it affects other people. I also had my disclaimers on there that I'm not a bar card lawyer and I'm not a bar card judge. Now God, as his minister, has called me to be a judge and to be a common law lawyer. And in the realm of my ministry, as a minister, I am a judge. And I am a common law lawyer. And that's in the law of God, which is the superior law to all. And lawyers, they're not licensed anyway. So if a lawyer says practicing law without a license, that might be some words in a statute. But that's not the real law, because there is no licensed lawyers in the United States. They're certified or they're credited. Now, their bar association, which is a private club that has nothing to do with government, nothing to do with the judiciary whatsoever, they may give them an in-house license, but that's not in the law. So that's over there in their private club. So every man has a right to practice his law. They can't license a right. That's why they can't license you to handle your own private car going down the road, because you have a right of free movement, whether you do it by foot or by bicycle, skateboard, or in your private automobile. You got that right. And you don't have to register it. If you have to register your private automobile, then you have to register your refrigerator, your stove, your washer and dryer, because the federal government says it's a household good. Okay? Now, a VIN number, they call it a vehicle identification number, but a VIN number is really a serial number. Okay, well, there's serial numbers on your refrigerator, stove, washer and dryer just the same. So it makes just as much sense putting some kind of a tag on them too. They're household goods, and there's case laws. And I had to teach Jon Henry Spiel all of this stuff because he didn't understand it. And once he saw that when I come on there, he got 3,000 more viewers. 3,000 more subscribers, and people was paying money to learn this. He changed his whole dynamics because he realized this was something he could make money on. And he got everything he could for me and kept telling me about what percentage I'm going to give you. And I said, no, I'm not going to take a penny. I'm going to let you donate it to my church. And that was the agreement. And he didn't follow through. He didn't follow through with his agreement. He's a con man, a liar, a thief. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So, this will be the end of Jon Henry Spiel, the final chapter, unless he lies on me or David, P&P, J. Vincent Luck Foyers, or Bank versus UTV, or Jimmy Hutmaster, or any other person out there that he lies on, cheats, and does wrong, then I'll come back and do another video. It's hard for me to do videos about free movement, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, how to successfully deal with police in a police encounter. So the police go home and they go to sleep and have happy dreams. You go home, you go to sleep, and you have happy dreams. So you go doop instead of dum 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 dum, and somebody goes to jail. Okay, and then it's the never-ending story. Okay, let's figure out how to everybody go home safe. Okay, I'm 100% for honest cops. If I see an honest cop and he's in trouble, I'll risk my life to protect him. If he's dirty, I'll work to my last breath to see that he goes to prison. And I'm the guy that tried to sponsor a bill in the state of Florida that said if you was a cop, whatever the criminal penalty was for anybody else, if you was convicted, you got twice. So if it called for 2 years in prison and you got convicted of that same crime, you automatically got 4 because you was a law enforcement officer or a peace officer, depending on certain criteria. That's a long story, but anyway, whatever they got, you would get twice as much. If it was a $500 fine, you paid $1,000. If they got 5 years of probation, you got 10 years because you were supposed to be the damn example. Okay, so and so the police unions and benevolence associations said, "Oh no, we can't do that. That's nobody. No." So they fought it. The Sheriff's Association didn't want it. The PBA didn't want it. And there were some other little splinter-like groups for police, and they fought it tooth and toe. And I said, do you think that many cops are committing crimes? I said, if we're all good and honest cops, we shouldn't worry about this, should we? I mean, if we're upholding the law, why should we worry about going to jail twice as long? Only criminal cops should worry about that. And I said, the way you are going on, it sounds like 90% of the cops are criminals. I said, according to our own statistics, our own in-house statistics, it says somewhere between 7 and 9% of cops routinely abuse power and authority. And I said, I think it's more like 20%. Now, some of it's accidental, stupid stuff for newbie cops, rookies. Some of them for cops that lose their temper and get hot-headed and do things they shouldn't do. They're not normally bad, but they do have a bad day like every other man or woman, and they say things that ain't right. And if you don't know the law, just say, I don't know. There's too many laws to possibly know. But then there's statutes, and statutes ain't law. And code is less than that, and policies like dirt. doesn't mean nothing. You know, you can make a policy that said you got to pluck your eyebrows before you come to work. Well, that's asinine, but there is a lot of asinine policies. Police policies, government policies. So I'm going to try and start working with some people on doing some of these First Amendment audits, Fourth Amendment audits, and other audits. And if I can, I'm actually going to try and get some government officials on my channel to talk to me and do interviews with them. I've been working on this stuff trying to get people to sign on. A lot of people tell me behind closed doors or on the phone or emails, yep, that's right, yep, but they won't let me use their name or they don't agree to use it. I mean, I'm like a press man. I'm gathering content for my stories. So I could do it. They wouldn't want me to do it, but I could. But I'm an honest man, and I promised I wouldn't, and I don't, because I got integrity. I'm not Johnathan Henry Spiel dirtbag. I'm Chief Damon Jones, an honest man who's been pushed to the end of the line. And so I'm not going to have to take all the lawful action necessary to bring Johnathan Henry Spiel down and his little criminal empire and his delusions of grandeur and get him all the mental help he needs and criminal assistance to get him locked up in a crazy farm if that's what it takes. Now, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I did work with a lot of criminally insane people, okay? And he shows a lot of the exact same symptoms. And these doctors that worked in this said, you can tell the criminally insane by da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, the longer I've spent around him, I figured, hey, that's what he is. He's criminally insane. But it takes years and years to treat these people. And they said, now, some people just mean-spirited and they appear to be insane, but they're just mean-spirited evil criminals. So whether he's a mean-spirited evil criminal or a criminally insane, he needs to go to prison or a crazy prison. Okay? Either way, he's going to get the help he needs and deserves. And I'm going to help him get that to the best of my ability. And with y'all's help too. Thank you to all the good people out there. Thank you for listening. Please spread the word. Help my channel explode. I ain't charging nobody nothing for anything. I've talked to people on the phone. I've answered emails. I've tried to answer as many questions as I could in some of my videos. If there's a certain kind of video you want to see, write it down like, I want to know what the 10th Amendment's about. What does it mean? How does it apply? Or the 9th Amendment, or the 2nd Amendment, or the 1st, the 4th. When was it wrote? What does it mean? How's it applied? Is there any court cases about? Whatever you want to see. If you want to say, well, what did they teach you about weapons in the police academy? Or what did they teach you about traffic stops? So forth and so on. Just pick your topic, put it in the comments, you'd like something about it, and as fast as I can, I'll do a video on it, even if it's just 5 minutes. Of course, I'm more in the 15-minute to hour video, but I'll do something on it. Try and do it within a few days or within a week. And I'm an honest guy, and I ain't charging nobody nothing. Zero. Now, I do have an address if somebody wants to make a donation to my church. My church will accept a donation. I ain't taking nothing. My church can use help, can use a lot of help. I'll give you a P.O. box to make checks out to my church, or I might get a PayPal account. I don't know. But me, I'm not doing nothing. When I get enough people, I may very well monetize the channel. But if I do, all that money's going to go to my church. Not me, but to my church. I don't want one penny from nobody for nothing. Now, if you just got a big old wallet and a big old gigantic heart, and you want to send me $50 and say, hey, why don't you take you and your wife out and have a nice dinner? I probably would do that. If somebody says, hey, I got a computer I want to donate to you to help you do better videos and software for the videos. I need a better computer. My computer's old and I'm having to do stuff on my smartphone and it gets hot and cuts off a lot. If you want to do that, I would take, a tower. Somebody want to give me a free tower, I would take that. They could make these videos, I would take that. And to take my wife out to eat. if somebody has, just, I ain't asking nobody that's struggling, no. But if you got a lot, you want to give it to me because you believe in what I'm doing, I'll take it. Or a video camera to go do First Amendment audits, any equipment like that, I'll take it to do this here. And unlike Johnathan Henry Spiel, I'll put it down on my records, and I'll do it rightly and correctly like I do everything else. I'm honest. My wife says, gosh, you're an honest man. And I am. And y'all pray for me that I can get over all this damage and hurt that Johnathan Henry Spiel has brought to me. And I pray for all y'all that's been damaged by him, that y'all recover as well. Now, we are due financial damages according to the law, the way I read it, and it's been interpreted to me by lawyers. Then we have a claim according to what I've been told. And we'll probably pursue it. Well, God bless y'all, and we'll pray that justice is done. Till next time, aloha.